ranger that just spoke to my heart the most, which was the Mystic Force Blue Ranger. She has mermaid powers, and actually in my career, I'm a professional mermaid. So it's
That's a real thing. Look it up. She's really a mermaid.
That makes sense. I agree.
It's a lot of fun. So favorite ranger, one of my favorite seasons.
Well, that's cool. Everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you guys are still coming in. I would like to introduce to you now, without any further ado, the cast of Power Rangers Mystic Force, the Yellow Ranger Chief, Nick Sampson! The Red Ranger Nick, Taras Durrani!
Sorry your dad couldn't make it.
The Solaris Knight, John Tui! And of course, the man that brought us Plan Xander all the way down there. Richard Brent Canisano is the Green Ranger. It's really good to have you guys up here. It's a lot of fun. So it's been like a couple of years since the show ended. Well, more than that, but
12 years.
It's been 12 years. I didn't want you to feel too old, though. Already, I was being honest. So 12 years since Mystic Force that brought you all together, and yeah,
12, 14.
it's been a while. Either way, is it been
14
14 years?
14, sorry. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Yeah, you filmed in 05 and it was aired in 06, yeah. So it's even longer instead of shorter. Yeah.
14 years.
Wow.
That was quick.
Yeah, it was a lot of time. It was a whirlwind.
Quick
of time.
14 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I got to meet two of you guys was at that very first Power Morphicon. Rich, you were there, and if you remember, you were there too. It was a great time.
2007.
2007. That was like the inaugural Power Rangers convention. And now here we are in Orlando, Florida, beautiful city.
And that's been 12 years.
And that's been 12 years since that time. You know, the thing is, Orlando didn't get a lot of applause just now, and I'm frankly not mad about it.
Yay, Florida!
There it is. So yeah, I'm really glad you guys are here with us. So what have you guys been doing since the show, if you don't mind me asking?
Just sitting around,
Stuff.
Hanging out.
hanging out with friends, doing some washing.
That's a serious question. You
That
better
was a serious question.
yeah. Seriously answer it.
Okay.
Rich is going to keep us on track today and see that.
Well, I was living in New Zealand most of the time. Great place, check it out. I've been doing comedy, and I'm also in another TV series at the moment called The Broken Wood Mysteries, which is like a murder mystery show. Coming soon to the Acorn channel. Check it out.
Oh, cool.
Season 6.
That sounds pretty cool.
Just doing some plugs.
That's pretty neat. How about you, man?
Well, I've been I was living in Melbourne for about 5 years, doing a show called House Husbands, and that finished in 2017. Just been kind of working, traveling a lot. I went to Africa. I went to Kenya for several weeks, and kind of like just volunteered, ran a sports program. Went to the savannah. Yeah, Africa. Yeah, I just had enough, and after 5 years of like TV, I was just like, I've had enough of this. Yeah, I was five seasons of a show can burn you out. So yeah, I went to Africa. And I had a ball there, man. I was taking photos. I went into the savannah. I hung out with leopards and lions and shit. Yeah, it's true. I was refreshed after that trip. You know, it was 8 weeks there. I went to South Africa. I went to Kenya. I volunteered. It was great. Hey, go to Africa.
Go to Africa. That's what we can take away.
When in doubt, go to Africa.
Really?
That's good advice.
Clears your perspective on things.
It really does. You know, I went to one of the biggest slums called Kibera. And I think like 3/4 of the Kenyan population are in this slum. And for me to walk in this slum, I felt ashamed in the sense that some of my insecurities and fears that I kind of battle with and am challenged with, on a whether it's career or whatever it is. The acting career, it just evaporates because it kind of you sit there and you go, wow, this is so exposed, and these people are living on bare minimum. It's like it does change your perspective. It really does. So I did that. And then I did a play, which was great, called The Effect. And that was on for 6 weeks, and it was great, man. I was back to my stage, doing my acting on stage. And a few films here and there, a couple of spurts of not working. And yeah, but overall, just growing up, did some theatre, did a film with Mel Gibson directed me.
Oh, wow.
So I spent 5.5 weeks with him. Yeah, but other than that, just, gone through the cycles of life, I guess. Relationships and shit. Women. I still haven't worked it out.
All right. Okay.
I'm moving on.
Just to bring it over to John. How are you doing, John? You doing
Hi
well?
guys, thank you for making it out. I've been well, and I'm very happy to be here. And I've been married, and I've got 4 children, and just grateful to be working as an actor, doing a couple of projects here and there. Yeah, and I'm happy to be reunited with these fine young actors.
We're gonna get through one panel with our song, but it's not gonna be this one. Yeah.
Okay, that was awkward.
That was great.
Moving on, but
I love
yeah, just
Tell them about some of the projects, man. Come on.
Still doing what I love. I always respected acting as a craft. Power Rangers gave me my first break and changed my life. And I came into Mystic Force halfway through these young gentlemen's season, and I've built these friendships and maintained them with Frizz. All Justin and I do with Ferris, he's always been my brother, and Nick and Rich. So yeah, I've just been working, and that's what I love doing. So
Tell them about the time I invited you to that play in Sydney. What happened?
I'm not saying anything on my way.
Please.
Moving on.
Tell them. I want to know.
Richard's still yet to talk.
I've been waiting for 15 years to hear about the story. That's what I've been doing. So. You guys tell it, no? He's giving me that look. When it gives me that look, I listen. Kind of the same stuff that these guys have been doing. Like Rangers was my first break too, and then after that I just did a few more kind of acting jobs here and there, and actually moved to the States for a little bit, which was awesome, and worked there a bit, and then didn't work there for a longer bit, and then came back to Sydney, and recently I've just been working a little harder on my music stuff, just taking a little break from acting so I can just kind of concentrate a little more on the music, but I'll probably get back into the acting shortly, but I don't know how long. But yeah, that's pretty much me.
Not too shabby, guys. Now, in a few moments, we're going to take some questions from the audience. So if you have questions, if you wouldn't mind lining up by, in this, wherever Gemma goes, that's where you'll line up.
Right
That's
over
perfect.
here.
That's perfect right there, actually. That's going to be great. But while we're lining up and getting the questions going, I will ask you all this. This was the first season of Power Rangers, and really to date, the only season of Power Rangers to really deal with magic as the theme. And it's different and it's interesting, and it's got its own lore that to a lot of fans makes Power Rangers Mystic Force one of the coolest seasons. It really does. And had any of you had a lot of exposure to the Power Rangers prior to this when you got the role? I know some of you might not have watched the show or been around a place where they even had the show.
In Australia we had it, but we generally I think only had like the first season, like Mighty Morphin. Well, that's the only one I saw as a kid, and I watched it a little bit as a kid, but then I didn't see much of it again until like the email came through for the audition, and it was quite a surprise. Like I didn't know that they were still shooting it, so that's cool. And then I did some research and I kind of saw how big the world was, and and foot. So
Yeah, we had Power Rangers in New Zealand for like 1 year, and then it got banned. It was too violent for New Zealand. Yeah.
So you couldn't watch it, but you could shoot it.
Yeah, I could shoot it.
Typical.
Wasn't allowed to show it to anyone. Yeah, because a bunch of mums got together and banned it.
And rightly so.
Rightly so.
And
Nobody should be watching it.
Being from
Too
New
violent.
Zealand, wasn't that like I remember that like 1995, and when they screened Power Rangers, they said they banned Power Rangers because it's too violent, but they kept playing WWF. So it was that makes sense. And, you know, people are pile driving, breaking necks on trampolines and stuff. So I was
It's
just
just more realistic on WWE than it is.
Well, it's
It's just two guys instead of a monster.
that's when you know these corporate giants don't have the interest of the fans. So that's why like, me coming here is me plugging back to the fandom. I've learned that word yesterday. Yeah. I don't know what the hell the point was, but back then, like yeah, they banned. We got it 1 year, and it was funny because when I travel internationally, I'm still recognized for being a Power Ranger. Once a Ranger, always a Ranger.
Really put that into a play.
What's the fandom like in your guys' neck of the woods?
There is no
Australia. Yeah, not Australia.
There is no fandom there because they don't watch the show. Yeah, it's not, they don't have access to the show.
They should in New Zealand, and for us as Kiwis working there in our country, it's like there is that part of your ego where you want your own country to support.
Yeah.
But they don't know. But it was good. It's a double-edged sword because it's good. So when we go out, no one recognizes you, and I'm fine with it. But then when you travel to America, and then they approach you on the street, and then I'm just sitting there like, wow, it just blew my mind. So yeah, there's not a real big following there unless you have like Sky, Nickelodeon, and all that stuff.
Cable.
Yeah.
But we can't afford that.
And I'm from the hood, so you can afford it. So you can see it.
At the last panel, we did have a fan from Australia, remember? He asked a
Yeah.
question. So
So
it
they do.
exists.
It is there. I'm just trying to
If you're in Australia and you're a fan of the Power Rangers, you're committed though. You've done a lot to get the show. You had to go underground and sneak the show, risk persecution to watch.
You're real
Yeah,
fan.
that's really it. I don't know if you guys want to answer, but I guess we got a lot of questions over here, so
All right.
jump to them.
Hi, it's nice to meet you, Mystic Force Ranger, for the first time. I'm Timothy Davis from Miami, Florida. My very important question is, how was it working with Peta Rudu, who played O'Donnell the White Ranger?
She was amazing. She was a really warm, funny, generous woman. Like she was a really nice presence to be around. Yeah.
Yeah, she was special. She was. I mean, it's so long ago, and you're trying to remember what went on. But from what I can remember, she was very professional and full of love and encouragement. But yeah, it's sad that she's gone.
She also did lots of really amazing theatre in New Zealand. So she did really like innovative, immersive theatre, which doesn't get as much recognition as like Power Rangers, but yeah, it's a real tragedy. She was awesome.
That's a great question.
I mean, she's probably with you, looking down my spirit, helping continue her legacy for her.
Amen.
Thank you, brother.
You're welcome.
I saw her a few times, and when her condition started to deteriorate, and she's like our auntie, you know, and she's from that theatre cloth. She was an actress. It wasn't by chance that she was there, and her and Chris Graham were friends of mine. Who played Liam Boat.
Yeah, Nick's father.
Yeah, man, and just love her. I did it with my kids. She was awesome.
That was good.
Hey guys, I met a lot of you last night, so it's good to see you here. And Mr. Tui, it's an honor to meet you, sir. So, my question for you all is, looking back from when you were filming Mystic Force, were there any scenes in particular that you remember thinking, what was I thinking? How did they get me to agree to do this?
like, there were a lot of scenes where we had to just stare directly into the sun for 10
Do you
minutes
remember-
straight and pretend it was a monster.
Yeah, that was nice. Do you remember that? There was that episode where they were like, and then you fall into quicksand.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
I love that
And they
scene.
CGI
That was a
quicksand.
great
They
scene.
dug that
I was
massive
like,
hole
what
with
the-
full
what
of
the-
mud.
They literally
neck
dug.
deep in poo.
It was nuts, eh?
And that was fun.
That was actually.
Like that's when you had a thought, what the hell am I doing in here?
Yeah, that's when we.
But that was a fun scene. That was one of our first scenes.
Was it?
Like it was like early, wasn't it early? Early in the season.
Like it might have been.
Yeah. That was a good scene.
That was
But, like because it wasn't that deep, was it?
No.
But we were trying to like.
Yes, it was. Yes, they made it too
Oh,
deep,
yeah.
and that was the problem. We were all like drowning, actually. And they just rolled the cameras and let us survive. And that's what you see.
And then we actually did it in one take.
We had to.
We had to do it in one take because they couldn't reshoot that.
In fact, the original Vita died that day. And we had to go back and reshoot all our other stuff before that and then after it.
We were really happy with the second one.
Yeah. And she's still there.
You know,
We had to do some flying at some point. I remember.
What other scenes? Can you remember some?
We had to like hang around in those
we
houses.
had some scenes, didn't we? We had like we went up like we traveled time. I remember this one story actually. In the script, John Tui's character, he had to Nick had to kick or punch his character and he had to fall on his ass, right? Yeah. Right? Listen to this. John had to he approached the director and was like, wait, what do you... And it had to be your phone, didn't it, John? And John goes to the director, he goes, wait, let's peel this back a bit. So what do you mean, like Nick kicks me and I fall on my ass? No. What if? What if he gets hit and he falls to one knee? This is what he said. He pulled the director aside and goes, no, I'm not falling on my ass. There's no way I'm falling on my ass. If he hits me, maybe he just takes one knee and then he gets back up real quick. This is John. No, John. I'm like, John, the script says you fall on your ass. Fall on your ass. It's like, I'm not falling on my ass.
It was an artistic choice. And also, no. I felt the stature of Dageron could. Listen, I get it.
I don't think my character will do that.
No. It's my character.
But in the script, the creative rights have said to question the direction. Dageron, and Dageron falls on his ass. That's what it said. It's right here. It's right here in writing. There it is.
Little Nick was not dropping Dageron.
He's more skilled at that time.
I'm not bending the seal. I do not fall on my behind. I take it like a soldier and fall to my knee. I know my character better than the writer.
And the director,
I played him.
yeah, the director's just like, he's scrawny little guy. He's like, yeah, sure, why not? Yeah. Sure. And then John's like, I own that. Yeah, man, whatever, yeah, hell yeah, one knee, yeah, great. My God, shit, just don't hit me. Don't eat me, man.
And we had like 6, 7, 8 directors come through the series, right? So every director comes with their own perception, right? But they're only peeping through the window. They're not in the room. I'm in the room, and I will not bend the knee. I went from 0 to 100 in a For me, for Dageron to fall back onto his butt monkey on his back would show him to be weak. I am the mentor. I am the general.
I'm just going to trip your ass over later on.
Is there another one of these panels on the string? All right,
My question's for us. In the second episode, you do like this crazy spin kick off a motorcycle, like 15 feet in the air, and the motorcycle like falls.
I wish that was me. That was a stunty.
I was gonna
That was a Japanese stunty. Or maybe not, but he was on wires, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how do you film that? Would you ever try that in real life?
Yeah, no. I'm not stupid. It's about longevity here. Yeah, I think it was a stunty on wires. Cool stunt too, by the way. Really cool. Yeah.
And now Zordon.
Yeah. Finally, I went away because you. Previous question, you guys gave me the hiccups. But glad I went away. This is a question for Ferris. With the characters of Nick and Madison, would you have liked to see more development in the series, or just have it the way it is?
There's kids here. There's children here. As you answer the question.
What are you laughing about, JT? Oh man. It's like, you know those little two, like you have the angel.
Answer the question.
You have the small devil on the left-hand side and the right angel. Yeah, this is a devil. Look, I think it was fun the way it was written. Yeah, I mean, she was a great character, and I think she has a great, fan base. And I really enjoyed that whole journey, that whole arc. But yeah, I mean, it could have been developed. I mean, Daggeron could have been developed. I mean, we all have thoughts about the way we could have been portrayed. But yeah, it was fun. It was really the reason why we're here, and I think this goes for everybody on stage, is because it was one of my first jobs as well. And we created a real friendship, and everyone got along. Like, we actually did like each other. There was a real friendship. It never happens. It never happens on a set. It's always fractured. There's always people, there's a lot of ego. And this was one of our first, and we loved it, and it was like, it was a good job. And it paid well, and we got to move around. It was shot on location, and the people were great. So you don't know how good it was until you live it, you experience it, and then you have a career, and you go, oh man, we really had it good. And that's why we're here.
Thank you, and sorry on the double.
Yeah, Austin, fellow Southern Hemisphere, South African. I know rugby wilder here, but yeah, I think my question is more for, I guess, was it Tui? But if your characters were to like cross over, like if it was SPD, Mystic Force, or Operation Overdrive, or just a Returns movie, how do you feel that your characters would go by today, like when it was like left off, how do you think they would how do you think it would work when they would relate to either other characters or they would return? And
You South African?
yeah.
Congratulations on winning the World Cup.
You're still better than us in my opinion.
Thank you for saying that. All Blacks all day. Thank you. Yeah, congratulations. That question, having played two mentor roles in two series, for me, the backbone of the mentor is kind of the same as you see. It's the wisdom. It's the voice of reason. He is the father figure. He translates what we perceive as a leader, as a word of wisdom to these young rangers. Because the journeys of all the Rangers, they go through a journey in every series, right? There's self-discovery, there's insecurity, and then there's this coming of age. By the time we get to the last episodes, we followed this family and this group of people to the end episode that we just like, we see parts of ourselves played in these characters. In terms of whether Doggy Kruger and Solaris Knight would get along, I think they would. Because they were both humble, wise men with leaderships, without ego. They put themselves, they're the guys that lie on the wire and allow the troops to walk over them. Do you understand? That's a leader role. I'm a father of 4, and I'm the oldest brother of 9. I always knew that I had to protect, provide, and do the best job I could in this life that I have. Once a Ranger.
Alright, my question is for John Tui. For Japanese, there was an unused SPD and Mystic Force crossover. If you got the chance to play Donkey Kruger again and go up against Korak, how do you feel that fight would go down?
I'll kick his ass. The younger viewers.
Okay, my question is for all of you. After you all got the part for Mystic Force, did you see any Magi Ranger? And if you did it cross over into your characters for Mystic Force?
No. It was like 2005, so getting your hands on something like the Japanese version would have been quite tricky. You have to bootleg it or...
Didn't they show you the VHS? Did they sit you in that room and watch the VHS?
No, man. Did you watch
Did you go in that special room? They locked the door and... You know.
They said you guys were going for lunch.
What was that?
They said you guys were all going out for lunch. And I just...
That was the day we all got, you know, that's probably why.
Yeah.
Well, these characters are all underdeveloped. That's not true. He had a very developed character. No, I feel like we watched a couple of episodes, like, or bits and pieces, and they showed us the toys. Like, it was a day of like induction. Do you remember that? Do you remember that, Ferris? No. Maybe I'm literally imagining this. Seriously, I don't know. I thought we went and watched just a few episodes, and they showed us a book and stuff, and like with pictures and stuff.
You feeling alright?
Let's talk about it.
I do. I remember Emma Lahana told the story. Do you guys know who Emma Lahana is from Down Under? She told a story like that. So I feel like it did happen.
I think it did.
Yeah. So
Who told it?
Emma Lahana from Dial Thunder. Yeah, and so it's collaborated. I believe it could have happened.
There is evidence of it happening.
Yeah.
You know, the seasons.
You were the one paying attention.
So my question is, what's your favorite animated video game?
What was that, sorry?
What is your favorite animated video game?
What's your favorite anime? Anime and video game. I don't know any anime, but I know a lot of video games. When you start,
Which one's your favorite?
King's Quest by Sierra, and who played King's Quest? Yeah, Police Quest 2, Space Quest 3, Captain Comic, Commander Keen, all those early PC games. Duke Nukem. I'm just trying to think. Who goes onto YouTube and just types in all the old DOS games and watches playthroughs? Do you guys do that? Yeah, it's cool, eh? And I just bought an old CRT TV to do it with the other day, so. Yeah.
I haven't been following anime, but my children play Fortnite.
What's that?
Like crack. That's That's our future generation. Hold on. Nah. There is still hope. And they play. My son plays Red Dead. He plays. In terms of me, I'm old school, man. So I like all the old, like '90s arcade games.
The Sims.
But I love Crash Bandicoot because. That's all I got, buddy.
Yeah. Tekken?
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, I played Tekken growing up. 15. What's his name again? The guy that looks like Bruce Lee but isn't Bruce Lee?
Martial Law.
Yeah, Martial Law. That was my boy. Anime? I don't know much about anime. No. But Tekken was my game.
I spent most of my teenage years playing Pokemon Red. They're just pretty solid there. And I've been watching Avatar recently. So, that's awesome. Like the storytelling man is incredible. It's beautiful. Look it up.
Is anyone into VR gaming? Who's played Astrobot? PlayStation, yeah. Who's got the Oculus?
Yeah.
PlayStation VR? Yeah. A lot more of you said you played VR games, and then when I asked which VR headsets you have, only two put your hand up. I'm a little confused. Anyway, get into it. It's a new wave of gaming. Skyrim's great. Job Simulator is great. How about try this and you will die? Or what's that one where you gotta? I expect you to die. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Oh, that's good one. Tetris in VR.
Tetris.
Are you the pieces?
You have to maneuver yourselves into where you belong. It works. It's a metaphor for life, really. Awesome.
Hi, my name is Brian. I just want to say that I've been watching the show for a very long time, and when I was growing up and getting into college, you guys were my last full season of Power Rangers that I watched fully through. So from a nostalgic standpoint, I love Mystic Force from the bottom of my heart. You guys made that possible for me. So I just want to.
Thank you, man.
But no, my question is for each of you: if you could pick another Power Rangers team to be a part of, what would you be on?
I would say the first one. Red Ranger. Basically, I want to be Austin.
From Mystic Force, I probably would just be an SPD.
I see what you did there, cheeky bugger. Hey? I don't know, it's a hard one. I'll be in yours as well, man. I'll be an SPD. I'll play Dougie or something.
What, Chihuahua?
But they call me Big Dog instead of Doggy. Big Dog is the father of Doggy. Yeah, he's the godfather. He's the godfather of Doggy. You feel me? Yeah. And then.
Children are watching.
Nick? I don't know. What's the ninja one?
Ninja Storm.
I don't know. What's the most recent ninja one? Okay, I met some of those guys and they were cool, so yeah, maybe I could be in that.
Where are we again?
That's the one where they fight.
Who am I?
What's
my name? Is this a trip? Did I just take a mushroom? What the hell, man? This fabric is awesome.
All right, you guys all knew that Nick was the Sentinel Knight, right? In Power Rangers Operation Overdrive. Yeah, so Nick has technically been in 2 as well, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Didn't you do monster voices or something?
Yeah, I've done a bunch of monsters.
Which ones?
Well, the thing is, because you just go and do them, and they take like 20 minutes to do. And then,
Well, they take you 20. They'll take a normal person probably 20 hours. But Nick is a very talented voice actor.
I've got like
really
3
good.
voices, and they're great.
They're great. Do some now.
Can you do some, please?
I actually can't remember what the voices of the monsters were, but they were just like. Oh, Sentinel Knight was like. Hey, that's it. I'm the Sentinel Knight, and I'm a big man, and I transform into a sword. That's all I remember. What I do. That's it.
When we had to do voiceovers, which there was a lot of obviously because we had helmets on, I always used to lose my voice really easily doing it. I just didn't know how to use my voice and yell without it disappearing that next day. And I kept asking Nick, like, how do you do it? He's like, just do it. I didn't have a problem with it, eh?
I enjoyed it, yeah. But it was really tough, like, because you just go and stand in this booth and yell for about as long as your voice can take it, which is about like 40 minutes, and you have to take a break. You just stand there and be like, yeah, yeah, ah, ah.
Sounds like tough tongue on it.
That's tough.
You're not even getting paid to do that right now. That was pro bono right there. Oh man. Kevin, what do you got for our friends here?
I have to know, when you weren't filming the show, what was your favorite activity doing offset?
Dun dun.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
They're kids.
There are kids.
We good?
I know what I did.
Yeah, you know what you did and who you did. You're disgusting. That's a disgusting response.
You used to play your guitar quite a bit.
I did.
Strumming away on the old
I
guitar.
did. I played and tried to record music, and so that's the first time I bought a laptop and got GarageBand, and one of the sound guys lent me a microphone and made a. You know how like when you're singing to a mic, how you need to put something there to stop the pop filter. He made one for me out of a stocking and a wire. It wasn't his stocking, and a coat hanger, and I use it, and I still got it. I still got it in my studio today, and I also got given a 12-string guitar, which I still use to this day as well. So I just tried to record music and stuff, and that's kind of where it started for me.
But you know, like the shooting of Power Rangers was so intense. It's like 6 months, and you get being picked up at 5, and you get home at like 7. So you pretty much just you go out, you work, you come home, and you just collapse on the floor and lie there until the next morning.
It's true,
not really that much free time.
And you're on every day because like it was generally always all of us together. It was kind of like on a normal show, you can't, I don't know, well, shows I've worked on, I work like maybe 2 days a week. It's pretty cool. And then, you know what I mean? If you're not the lead, but in this, like, we had to